The galaxy had grown old. Stars dimmed, civilizations rose and fell, and countless species fought for survival in the cold stretches of space. Among them, the Zereth Collective stood tall, an ancient race known for their wisdom and their vast empire that stretched across hundreds of worlds. They had seen almost everything that could exist in the universe, or at least they thought they had. For thousands of years, the Zerath believed they were the first intelligent race to master the power of the stars. They built colossal stations around suns, moved planets, and even shaped galaxies. But there was one mystery they never solved: the origin builders. Scattered across the galaxy were strange ruins, floating in the void or buried under the dust of forgotten worlds. These ruins were not Zerath-made, nor did they belong to any known species. They were ancient, older than time itself, built from materials that defied science. Even the brightest Zerath minds could not explain them. Some believed the structures were created by gods. Others whispered of a civilization that existed before light itself. One day, deep in the neutral zone of the galaxy, a massive anomaly appeared, a new star that wasn't there before. It had formed in a place where there was no gas, no dust, nothing that could create a star naturally. The Zereth called it the Awakening Light. Thousands of probes were sent to study it, but only one made it close enough before vanishing. The data it sent back before disappearing changed everything. The new star was not born from cosmic gas. It was built, piece by piece. Around it was a ring of metal, glowing faintly, almost alive. The structure hummed with power that bent space around it. At the Zerath Council Chamber, leaders and scientists gathered, watching the holographic projection. The chief astrophysicist, Elder Mirren, spoke in a low, trembling voice. This is not a natural star. Someone made it." The council fell silent, the room filled with the low hum of machinery and the faint sound of the star's pulse being transmitted from light years away. "Who would have the power to create a star?" asked one of the elders. Mirren looked down, her silver eyes reflecting the star's glow. "Only the origin builders could have done this." "But the builders are myths," said another council member. "Stories from the ancient archives. No one has seen them for eons." "Perhaps," Mirren replied. "But myths begin with truth." Meanwhile, on the other side of the galaxy, far beyond Zerath borders, a small human research ship named Odyssey drifted through deep space. Its crew was small, explorers from Earth searching for old star systems. The ship's captain, Ilara Voss, stood on the bridge, staring at a glowing beacon on her screen. "Captain," said her navigator, "we're receiving a strange signal from Sector Theta 19. It matches no known pattern." Ilara leaned closer. The signal pulsed like a heartbeat. "Lock onto it," she said. "Let's see where it leads." The ship moved silently through the dark void. As they approached, the crew saw it, the same shining star that the Zerath had discovered. It burned brighter than anything they had ever seen. "Is that a star?" whispered the engineer, Arun. Ilara frowned. "No, it's too perfect. Look at the orbit lines. It's artificial." The ship's AI, named Helios, spoke in a calm tone. "Analysis complete. The structure is made of unknown alloys. Its energy output exceeds any fusion reaction on record. Probability of artificial construction, 99.8%. The crew exchanged nervous glances. "Who could build something like this?" Arun asked. Ilara smiled faintly. "Maybe we're not the first ones to reach the stars." They stayed near the structure for several hours, collecting data. Strange readings filled the ship's sensors, faint vibrations like whispers through the hull. It was as if the star itself was singing. Then suddenly their sensors detected another presence, a fleet of ships approaching fast. "Contact!" shouted Arun. Multiple signatures, unknown design. The screens lit up, showing sleek silver ships with glowing marking. The Zerath Ilara's heart raced. "Put them on visual." The Zerath flagship appeared, majestic and terrifying, surrounded by a soft blue aura. From the other side, Elder Mirren watched the human ship through her own display. Her eyes widened. "What species is that?" she asked. "No record," her assistant replied. "Their technology looks primitive compared to ours. Yet, they are near the star." Mirren hesitated. "Open communication." The first signal reached the Odyssey. "Unknown vessel," the voice echoed deep and resonant. "Identify yourselves." Ilara took a deep breath. This is Captain Ilara Voss of the human expedition ship Odyssey, from the planet Earth. Silence followed. Then the Zerath replied, Humans. Your kind is not registered in any known archive. How did you find this place? Ilara looked at her crew. We followed a signal, she said carefully. We study stars and this one called to us. The Zerath exchanged uneasy looks. Mirren whispered, called to them. Could it be? For hours, the two sides communicated, cautious and curious. The Zerath believed they were dealing with a young, fragile species. Yet something about the humans unsettled them. The way they spoke about light, creation, and discovery with a sense of ownership, as if the stars themselves were part of their legacy. Finally, Mirren asked, Human Captain, do you know who built this star? Ilara hesitated. We don't, she said softly. But the signal that led us here, it was written in an old human language. Every Zerath in the chamber froze. What did it say? Mirren asked. Ilara turned toward the glowing star outside her viewport. Her voice was steady but filled with awe. It said, Welcome home, children of Sol. The transmission ended. Mirren stared in silence, the phrase echoing in her mind. The humans, children of Sol, had come to a place that responded to their language, their code, their history. Could it be possible? Could these young creatures from a small blue planet be the descendants of the builders? As the Zerath ships watched, the artificial star flared for a moment, brighter than before. Around it, ancient runes glowed, forming patterns that only human sensors could recognize. Coordinates, words, memories. On the Odyssey, Ilara's crew stared in awe. It's responding to us, Aaron whispered. Ilara nodded slowly. No, it's remembering us. The Zerath observers couldn't understand what they were seeing. Their scanners failed to interpret the changes. To them it was only light, but for the humans, it was a language of energy and history. That night, while the two species hovered in silence near the glowing creation, one truth began to form in Mirren's mind. A thought both impossible and terrifying. What if the builders never disappeared? She whispered to herself. What if they became human? Outside, the artificial star pulsed again, and from deep within its light came a faint human voice distorted by time and space. Project Starforge, Human Archive Online, the Zerath gasped. Mirren's hands trembled. Starforge? Humans built it. They built a star. The silence that followed was heavy. For the first time in 1,000 years, the Zerath felt something they hadn't felt in ages. Humility. They had believed themselves masters of the galaxy. But now, as they watched the human ship bathed in the light of a human-made sun, they began to realize a deeper truth. Perhaps humanity was not the newest race among the stars. Perhaps they were the oldest. The light of the artificial star filled the darkness of space like a living heart. Its golden glow reached across the void, touching both the human ship Odyssey and the Zerath fleet that surrounded it. Every second, the light pulsed as if remembering something ancient, something long lost. Inside the Odyssey, Captain Ilara Voss stood near the viewing window. The reflection of the star danced in her eyes. Around her, her small crew worked quietly, overwhelmed by what they had discovered. Helios, Ilara said, run another scan. I want every detail about that structure. The AI's soft voice filled the bridge. Scanning complete, Captain. The inner shell of the star is mechanical. It appears to contain multiple chambers, each filled with unknown energy signatures. There is also a communication signal repeating in low frequency. Ilara turned to her engineer, Aaron. Can we decode it? Trying, he said, fingers flying over the console. It's strange. It uses an old Terran data pattern, but it's fragmented, almost like it's been asleep for thousands of years. Outside, the Zerath flagship watched every move. Elder Mirren stood tall, her expression unreadable. These humans, she said softly to her assistant, are speaking to the star like it belongs to them. Her assistant, a younger Zerath scientist named Rel, nodded. Their ship is small and weak, Elder, but somehow they activated something we could not. Mirren clasped her hands behind her back. Perhaps they awakened it because it remembers them. Moments later, a message request came from the human ship. The Zerath opened the channel. Ilara's face appeared on the screen. Elder Mirren, we've found something inside the structure. It's a data core, massive, older than any record we know. It's human. The entire Zerath command deck went silent. That is impossible. said one of the counselors beside Myron. Humans are a young race, barely a few thousand years in the stars. How could they have built something that predates our empire? Alara's tone remained calm. I don't know, but I think this place is connected to our ancestors, a civilization far older than any of us believed. Myron stared at her image for a long moment, then spoke. We will send a team. Together, we will explore the inside. The descent into the star the next day, a small expedition formed. From the Odyssey, Alara and Aaron prepared their suits, while from the Zarath fleet, Elder Mirren and Rel joined them. 2 humans, 2 aliens, entering something that might change everything they knew. Their shuttle drifted toward the glowing structure. The outer ring opened, revealing a smooth corridor of light and metal. It was silent, yet alive, like being inside the heart of a giant. When they stepped inside, their footsteps echoed softly. The walls shimmered, forming faint human-like shapes and symbols. Aaron stopped staring. Captain, these are old Earth languages, but mixed with something else. Alara touched one of the glowing marks. It felt warm, almost like skin. It's trying to communicate, she whispered. Mirren observed carefully. How do you know this language, human? It's ancient, Alara said. Our ancestors used it thousands of years ago. I studied it as history. As they moved deeper, the corridor widened into a vast chamber. At the center floated a massive sphere of light, the memory core. Lines of energy flowed from it like rivers of gold. Helios's voice echoed from Alara's helmet. Energy levels are stable. But this structure, it's responding to your presence, Captain. Before anyone could react, the sphere brightened. A voice echoed through the chamber, and soft, human, and timeless. Welcome, descendants of Sol. You have returned to the forge. Everyone froze. Mirren's breath caught. It speaks our translation system? No, Alara said quietly. It's speaking directly to me. The light shifted, forming holographic images. Cities floating in space, vast rings encircling stars, and countless human ships traveling through the galaxy. These are humans, Rel whispered. But they look different, stronger, older. The voice continued, calm and sorrowful. We were the Starforgers, builders of suns, keepers of light. We shaped galaxies to protect life, but time consumed us. We left behind the forge, a memory of who we were, so one day our children might remember. Alara's hands trembled. Our ancestors, they built this. Myron's expression softened. Then humanity is older than our empire. The light dimmed slightly, showing another image. A massive war, stars collapsing, and entire civilizations vanishing. The Starforgers had fought something vast and terrible, not an enemy of flesh, but of silence. The voice grew faint. We faced the great dimming, the darkness that devours light itself. We could not stop it, but we hid fragments of our legacy within the stars. You who walk under Sol's light carry our memory in your blood. The images faded. Only the hum of the chamber remained. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Aaron whispered, Captain, if this is true, then humanity once ruled the stars. Alara nodded slowly. And now the stars are calling us back. Mirren turned toward her, her tone cautious. If your people built the stars, then why did you forget? Alara looked at the glowing floor beneath her boots. Maybe because we weren't ready to remember. The awakening signal outside, the Zarath fleet detected something strange. The artificial star's light began to spread, reaching nearby systems. Ancient satellites hidden in the dark started to activate, sending signals across the galaxy. Inside the forge, the sphere pulsed again. The voice spoke once more. Warning. System awakening in progress. Starforger network reactivation initiated. Mirren's eyes widened. What does that mean? Alara looked up. It means this isn't the only one. There are more Starforges out there. Suddenly the ground shook. Streams of light moved through the walls like veins. The star's power increased tenfold. Rel shouted, energy levels rising. We need to get back to the ships. They rushed toward the corridor as the light behind them grew blinding. But before leaving, Alara turned back one last time. The sphere flickered and whispered, Do not fear the awakening, child of Sol. The builders return through you. Then it went silent. The group escaped to their shuttle and flew back to the fleet. The artificial star burned brighter than ever before. Its energy spread like waves, lighting nearby systems that had been dark for centuries. From the Zerath flagship, the crew watched in awe. Elder Mirren stood still, her mind racing. This power, it could reshape the galaxy. Alara, speaking through the comms, said, "We have to understand it first. This isn't a weapon, it's a memory of creation." But deep inside the forge, unseen by any of them, old systems continued to awaken. Hidden archives opened, revealing maps of other forges scattered through the galaxy. Each one waited for a human to return. A galaxy remembers in the following days. Word spread quickly through the Zerath collective. The discovery of the forge shook their beliefs. For the first time, they had met a species whose ancestors might have created the very stars they worshipped. Many refused to believe it. "Humans, the builders?" scoffed one counselor. "They are too young, too fragile." But Mirren knew better. She had seen the truth with her own eyes. The star responding to human presence. The ancient voice calling them children of Sol. She recorded her thoughts in the council archive. If the humans truly descend from the Star Forgers, then their return marks the rebirth of creation. We must decide, will we guide them or follow them? On Earth, the news spread like wildfire. Humanity learned that they were more than explorers. They were the heirs of a forgotten age. Nations united in wonder. Scientists began studying the ancient signal that first called Odyssey. Alara Voss became a symbol of discovery, but in her heart she felt both pride and fear. If humans had once built the stars, what had destroyed them before? The message beyond the light one night aboard the Odyssey, Alara stood alone watching the forge from her window. It pulsed slowly like a beating heart. Helios spoke softly. "Captain, the signal from the forge continues. It contains a final message." "Play it," Alara said. The voice returned, faint but clear. "To those who remember, the darkness that ended us will rise again. Only the builders can reignite the light." Alara stared into the golden glow, her reflection merging with the light. She whispered, "Then we'll finish what they started." And in that moment, across the stars, ancient machines stirred, each waiting for the touch of human hands. The galaxy, once silent, began to remember the name of its true creators. The star burned brighter than ever, but its light brought both wonder and fear. Across the galaxy, the signal of the Star Forge reached countless worlds, echoing through ancient satellites, dead systems, and forgotten civilizations. The Zerath called it the Awakening. Humans called it the Calling of Light. But far beyond the edge of known space, something else heard the signal too. Something that had been waiting for ages in the endless dark. A growing shadow on the bridge of the Odyssey. Captain Alara Voss watched the glowing forge from her window. It looked calm now, but she knew it was not. The memory of the Star Forger's last message still echoed in her mind. The darkness that ended us will rise again. Her crew worked quietly around her. Aaron monitored energy readings, and the AI Helios spoke softly from the console. "Captain, energy waves from the forge have reached several nearby systems. Unknown objects are responding?" "Unknown objects?" Alara asked. "Yes, old machines, drifting in deep space. They appear to be activating," Aaron frowned. "Could they be other forges?" "Possibly," Helios replied. "But their signals are weak. Some are buried within collapsed stars." Alara turned to her crew. "Then we'll need to go find them." Before she could plan the mission, a new transmission arrived, from the Zerath flagship. Elder Mirren appeared on the screen, her face thoughtful but tense. "Captain Voss," she began, "the Council has reviewed what we found. Many fear what this awakening could mean. The Forge's power is beyond understanding. Some believe it will destroy us," Alara met her gaze, "or save us. The Star Forgers built this for a reason. They left it for us to find," Mirren sighed. "Perhaps. But there are whispers in our archives, records of the Great Dimming, a time when light itself was hunted." The bridge fell silent. Alara leaned closer. "Tell me everything you know." The ancient fear-later on the Zerath flagship Eternal Wisdom. Alara and Aaron sat across from Mirren and her assistant. "Rel." The room glowed faintly with blue light. Mirren spoke slowly, her tone grave. "The Great Dimming is not a myth. Our oldest records speak of a shadow, not of matter or energy, but of absence. It moved across galaxies, consuming stars, silencing light. Entire civilizations vanished overnight." Alara's eyes widened. "And the Star Forgers fought it?" Mirren nodded. "They did. But they lost. The shadow devoured entire suns. Only a few forges remained, hidden, sleeping, waiting for their makers to return. Aaron looked down, whispering. The voice said, "It would rise again." "Yes," Mirren said. "And now that the forge has awakened, so has the darkness." Before anyone could speak, alarms blared through the Zerath ship. The lights flickered. Rel shouted. Something just appeared near the forge. "No engine signature, no life readings." They rushed to the observation deck. Outside, a dark mist moved slowly across space, swallowing starlight. Where it passed, even the glow of distant suns vanished. Helios's voice came through the human communicator. "Unknown phenomenon detected. Energy absorption rate increasing. All nearby systems are losing power," Ilara whispered. "The great dimming. The shadow was returning. A new alliance." The forge pulsed brighter as if it sensed the threat. Its light pushed back the edges of the darkness, but only for a while. Ilara turned to Mirren. "If we don't act fast, that thing will consume everything." Mirren's expression was firm. "Then we stand together. The Zerath will help you, human. We cannot fight darkness alone." For the first time, the two species, one ancient, one young, began to work side by side. Engineers from the Odyssey and Zerath scientists connected their systems, sharing data and energy readings. Helios and the Zerath AI, Orion, linked their processors. "Cross-analysis complete," Helios reported. "The forge's inner systems are defensive, designed to project light barriers across vast distances." Arun frowned. "Then we can use it to push the darkness back?" "Yes," Helios replied, "but the forge requires activation keys. Coordinates for the other forges." Ilara's eyes lit up. The voice mentioned a network. "If we find the others, we can reactivate them all." Rel projected a holographic star map. "There are at least 7 other signals responding weakly to the forge's pulse. One lies near the dead system of Vera 9, Ilara nodded. "Then that's our next destination." Mirren hesitated. "Captain, if the darkness continues to spread, the journey will be dangerous." Ilara smiled faintly. "Humanity has always walked in the dark, but we build light wherever we go." The journey to Vera 9 days later, the human ship Odyssey and the Zerath flagship traveled together through the black sea of space. Around them, stars flickered weakly. Some had already been touched by the dimming, their light fading like dying candles. Inside the Odyssey, Ilara's crew prepared for the descent. Vera 9 was a dead world once filled with life, now covered in frozen ruins. As they entered orbit, the scanners detected something massive beneath the planet's surface. Another forge, buried deep in the ice. "Helios," Ilara said, "can we wake it?" "Unknown. The energy core is nearly drained. Manual activation may be required." Ilara nodded. "Then we go down." Together with Aaron and 2 Zerath scientists, she descended to the surface. The air was thin and silent. The ground shimmered with layers of glass-like ice, broken by the remains of strange metal structures. They reached a large crater where an entrance glowed faintly. The same golden light as before pulsed beneath the frost. Ilara touched the surface. The ice melted instantly, revealing a massive door marked with the ancient symbol of Sol, the image of a sun surrounded by 7 stars. "It's another forge," Aaron whispered. They stepped inside. The air was cold but breathable. The walls were covered in faint inscriptions, more fragments of human history. Ilara traced her fingers along one of the glowing lines. "These words, they talk about the second light. The Star Forgers built these to reignite the stars after the First War." Mirren's voice came through the communicator. "Captain, be careful. Energy readings are unstable." Before Ilara could respond, the chamber rumbled. The forge began to awaken. Streams of light flowed through the corridors, reaching the central core. "Activation complete," Helios said through the helmet. "The Vera forge is responding to your presence." Then once again a voice spoke, soft, distant, human. "The builders return. The cycle begins anew. The light must unite or all will fade." Suddenly, outside in orbit, the second forge's power linked with the first. A bridge of energy formed between the 2 stars, a glowing river of light across the dark. From the Zerath fleet, Mirren watched in awe. They are connecting. They were never meant to stand alone. The darkness strikes, but as the new forge awakened, the shadow moved faster. The great dimming had found them. Sensors screamed warnings as dark waves hit the Zerath fleet. Ships lost power one by one. The Odyssey's lights flickered. "Ilara!" Mirren shouted through the communicator. The darkness is attacking.
It's feeding on the forge's light.
Ilara looked up at the glowing core. It's attracted to energy. It wants to consume it. Then we need to fight back, Orion said. But how? Ilara thought quickly. Helios linked the two forges. Focus their energy outward like a flare. Understood, Helios replied. Warning, this may overload the system. Do it, Ilara ordered. Now the two forges pulsed in unison. A surge of light exploded across the system, pushing the shadow back. The wave burned brighter than 1,000 suns. For a moment the darkness retreated, but only for a moment. Then slowly it began to reform at the edges of space, spreading once more. Helios's voice was calm but grim. The light only delays it, Captain. We cannot destroy it with power alone. Ilara stared into the void, her voice steady. Then we'll find another way. The promise of the builders, when the battle ended, silence returned. The Zerath fleet was damaged but alive. The humans had reactivated a second forge, linking it with the first one, but the darkness was still coming. On the bridge of the Odyssey, Ilara recorded a message to Earth and to all allied species. This is Captain Ilara Voss. We have found the truth of our ancestors. The Starforgers built the stars to protect life from the Great Dimming. Now that we have awakened their legacy, the darkness has returned, but we will not run. Humanity was born from light, and we will guard it again. Elder Mirren listened from her ship. Her expression was thoughtful, almost reverent. She finally understood what her ancestors could not. The humans were not just explorers. They were the memory of the universe, the ones who built the stars. And now, as the Great Dimming approached once more, the galaxy would need them more than ever. The galaxy had grown tense. Where the two awakened forges glowed, the Great Dimming loomed like a living shadow, consuming light and warmth. Ships that had once explored freely now moved carefully, avoiding pockets of darkness that could erase them without warning. Captain Ilara Voss stood on the bridge of the Odyssey, her hands resting lightly on the railing. The first two forges were alive, pulsing like twin hearts of creation, but she knew the shadow would not wait. The darkness was clever, patient, relentless. Aaron approached her. Captain, the next forge is in the Cerulean Belt, a cluster of dead stars thousands of light years away. Our travel time, it's long. The darkness is moving faster than we thought. Ilara's eyes narrowed. Then we move faster. Helios, calculate the safest jump path through the Cerulean Belt. Avoid the pockets of the dimming. Path calculation complete, Helios replied. Recommended route reduces travel time by 32%. Warning, high-risk zones remain. Ilara nodded. Then we take the risk. Humanity was born in danger. This is no different. The journey through the belt, the Cerulean Belt, was a graveyard of dead stars and shattered planets. Its frozen remnants drifted silently, lit only by the pale glow of distant galaxies. The Odyssey and the Zerath fleet moved carefully, scanning for both energy signatures and shadows. Ilara watched the dark pockets twist and curl around broken moons, absorbing starlight like hungry predators. She could feel the weight of the mission pressing down. Captain, Aaron said softly, do you think the Starforgers faced this same fear? Ilara smiled faintly, her gaze still fixed outside. They did, and they built the forges to fight it. That means we can too. Rel, the Zerath scientist, joined them on the bridge. Your people, he said quietly, carry something unique. Even we Zerath cannot explain it. The forges respond to humans in ways no machine or energy signature could predict. Ilara considered his words. It's in our blood, she said. A memory, a connection to creation itself, Helios interrupted. Captain, incoming signal. It is not human or Zerath. Unknown energy approaching rapidly. The first battle outside, a rift in space opened, black and twisting. Shadows poured from it like a storm of living darkness. Ship shuddered under the gravitational pull. Brace for impact. Ilara shouted. The Odyssey shook violently. Shields flared as streams of shadow collided with them. The Zerath fleet formed defensive formations, their ships emitting beams of blue energy to slow the darkness. Helios spoke calmly. The energy is absorbing conventional attacks. Only the forge's light can repel it. Ilara's mind raced. Then we give them more light. Connect the two forges. Push energy toward the rift. Aaron, start the energy relay. Rel, coordinate with the fleet. The bridge hummed with power as ancient machinery linked the forges. Rivers of golden light flowed through the network, reaching toward the dark storm. Shadows hissed and twisted but did not advance. For a moment silence fell, a quiet before the storm. Then the darkness surged again, stronger, reaching like black tendrils for the nearest forge. Alara clenched her fists. It's testing us. It wants to see if we are worthy of this light. The battle continued for hours. Every surge of energy from the forges pushed back the darkness, but it adapted quickly, moving faster and splitting into multiple tendrils. At one point, a shadow tendril breached the shields of a Zerath cruiser. The crew froze, but Rel activated a concentrated beam of energy from the forge network. The shadow recoiled, shrieking in a soundless echo before dissolving into nothing. Aaron looked at Alara, sweat on his brow.
Captain.
It's like it's alive, Alara nodded. It is alive, and it knows we are here to stop it. The secret's within humans. After the battle, the fleet retreated to a safe orbit near a small star. Silence filled the ships. Many crew members were shaken. The shadow had been relentless, and some had nearly lost hope. Ilara sat alone on the observation deck, staring at the stars. Helios spoke softly. Captain, I have detected something unusual. Human crew members are emitting a unique energy signature. It resonates with the forge's cores. It is not electrical or chemical. It appears to be memory-based, Alara frowned. Memory-based? Yes, Helios continued. Your DNA contains patterns that interact with the Star Forger technology. It is as if your body remembers the builder's intent. The forges awaken only in your presence, Alara shivered. That explains why the Zerath could not activate them. They are linked to us, to humanity itself. Rel appeared beside her. This is astonishing. Your species is the key, Captain. Perhaps all along, the Starforgers intended that humans would return to restore the light. Ilara touched the glass, feeling the stars beyond. Then it's not just about survival. It's about duty, about remembering who we are. The race to the next forge. With this revelation, a new urgency took hold. The third forge lay in the shattered system of Draven 3, hidden deep within the remains of a collapsed star. The darkness was already advancing, swallowing everything in its path. Helios calculated the fastest route. Warning: travel will require passage through the Abyss sector, a region of extreme shadow concentration. Ilara nodded. No other choice. Prepare for jump. The fleet accelerated. The journey through the Abyss sector was tense. Shadows clung to their path, twisting space, creating gravitational turbulence. The ships shook violently. Some smaller vessels faltered, but the humans and Zerath pressed on. During the long hours, crew members shared stories of Earth, of deserts, oceans, and skies. For the first time in weeks, laughter echoed through the corridors. Even in the face of cosmic darkness, humanity's spirit burned bright. Ilara smiled. That's what the Starforgers wanted us to remember. Hope is stronger than fear. Arrival at Draven 3. When they emerged from the abyss, Draven 3 lay in ruins, a blackened star surrounded by orbiting debris. The forge's signal pulsed faintly from beneath the shattered surface. Looks smaller than the others, Arun said, scanning the area. It's older, Helios replied. Much of its energy has decayed over millennia. Manual activation will be necessary. The team prepared to descend. As they entered the planet's shattered crust, they discovered the forge, a massive crystalline structure, fractured but still glowing faintly. Alara stepped forward. This one has been waiting a long time, but it recognizes us. Helios activated the interface. Golden light spread through the corridors, flowing into the crystal heart. The forge's pulse synchronized with the previous two, forming a chain of energy that stretched across light years. A soft voice spoke, deeper and more resonant than before. The builders return. The network of light awakens. Darkness will test you, but you carry the legacy of all stars. Ilara closed her eyes, feeling the pulse of creation within her. Then we won't fail, she whispered. But outside, the shadow waited. The great dimming had learned from every battle. It was stronger, faster, and more cunning than before. The race of light had begun, and the galaxy would soon witness the true power of humanity. The galaxy held its breath. Across countless star systems, the pulse of the forges had spread like rivers of light. 3 star forges were alive, linked together in a chain of energy, pushing back the darkness, but the great dimming had learned. Growing stronger, smarter, faster, Captain Alara Voss stood on the bridge of the Odyssey, staring at the swirling black mass outside. She felt a strange mixture of fear and determination. This was the moment humanity was born to face, the moment their ancestors had prepared them for, across countless millennia. Aaron approached her, hands shaking. "Captain, it's bigger than before." "The darkness. It's changing shape." Alara nodded, her voice steady. "Then we adapt. Humanity has always survived in the dark. Now we'll light it again." From the Zerath flagship, Elder Marin's voice came through. "We have studied the patterns. This darkness is drawn to light, but it cannot replicate it. Your presence strengthens the forges. You humans are the key." Alara clenched her fists. "Then we are ready." The journey to the remaining forges. The remaining 4 forges were hidden across dangerous and dead regions of space. One lay in the frozen void of Carith 12, another in the asteroid graveyard of Ulmar, a third in the ruins of a dying nebula, and the final one beneath the core of a collapsed star near Sol's outer system. The fleet split into 2 groups to cover more ground. The Odyssey led the first team, carrying Alara, Aaron, and 2 Zerath scientists. Each jump through space brought them closer to the forges, but also closer to the shadow, which moved silently behind them, waiting to strike. During the journey, the humans discovered something remarkable. Every time they approached a forge, their DNA seemed to resonate with the structure, memories of the Star Forgers flowing faintly into their minds. Images of starships, shining cities, and ancient battles flickered behind their eyes. Alara whispered to Aaron, "It's like we're remembering who we were." The Star Forgers, they weren't lost. They became us. Aaron's eyes widened. "So, humanity is the memory of the universe?" Alara nodded. "And now we're the ones who will finish what they started, the awakening of Carith 12. The first stop was Carith 12, a frozen wasteland of ice and shattered moons. As they descended, the team saw a massive crystalline structure, buried beneath layers of frost. Its glow was faint but steady. "Let's wake it," Alara said. The team entered the forge. Inside, the walls shimmered with golden light, revealing images of stars being born, civilizations thriving, and battles fought against the darkness. Helios interfaced with the forge. Activation sequence ready. Warning: unstable energy. Risk of overload if fully connected without support. Then we link it immediately with the other forges, Alara ordered. "We can't waste time." As energy flowed, the forge pulsed, connecting to the other 3. A wave of light shot across space, illuminating nearby systems. For a moment, it felt as if the galaxy was waking from a long, dark dream. Outside, a tendril of shadow attacked, lashing out toward the light. The energy chain held, forcing the darkness to retreat. Elder Mirren's voice came through. "Your people are extraordinary. We can barely comprehend the link you have with these machines." Ilara's face reflected the golden glow. "It's not comprehension, Elder, it's remembering. We are the builders. The light is ours." The Battle of Ulmar next, the fleet reached Ulmar, a massive asteroid graveyard orbiting a dead sun. Here the forge was fractured, its energy almost gone. As they approached, the shadow struck, hundreds of dark tendrils rising from the void, moving faster than ever. The Odyssey's shields flared. "They're attacking the forge directly," Aaron shouted. Ilara's voice rang out. "Focus the light. Connect all forges. We cannot let this one fall." Streams of golden energy surged from the 4 active forges. Meeting at Ulmar, the shadow shrieked in silent fury, but the combined force of the human-linked forges began to push it back. Alara entered the forge, her heart pounding. She touched the core. Memories flooded her mind. The Star Forgers building suns, traveling across galaxies, and creating these forges as guardians against the darkness. "Do you see it now?" Helios asked. Alara nodded, eyes closed. "Yes, we are the Star Forgers. We never left. We just forgot." The forge's energy flared, sending waves of golden light into the void. Shadows screamed and recoiled. The battle had been won. For now, the nebula of forgotten stars. The penultimate forge lay within a dying nebula, its gases faint and cold. The shadows had anticipated their arrival, and a massive wave of darkness blocked their path. "Captain," Aaron said, "this one is heavily guarded. The shadows are stronger here." Alara's jaw tightened. "Then we strike faster. The forge has waited too long." Inside the nebula, the team discovered the forge, cracked and dim. As Alara activated it, images of humanity's ancient battles appeared. Ships of light traveling across space, humanity fighting to protect life itself. For the first time, the humans understood fully. They were not just explorers, they were the memory of all creation, the continuation of the Starforger's legacy. Golden light erupted, connecting all 5 forges. Across the galaxy, stars flickered back to life. Systems illuminated, and civilizations felt the surge of energy, hope returning where there had been despair. The shadows hissed and surged, but the light now had unity, a force they could not consume. The final forge, the last forge, was buried deep within a collapsed star near the outer rim of Sol's system. It was the most dangerous place in the galaxy. The gravitational forces alone could destroy the ships. "Prepare for the final descent," Alara said. Her voice was calm but resolute. The Odyssey and fleet moved carefully, navigating the gravitational chaos. The forge was massive, its core darkened but still recognizable. As they approached, the great dimming attacked in full force, thousands of tendrils lashing toward the ships. "This is it," Alara said. All or nothing. Inside the forge, Alara placed her hands on the core. Memories flooded her. The birth of the Starforgers, the wars, the darkness, the creation of the forges. "I remember," she whispered. "We built the stars. We protected life, and we will do it again." She activated the forge fully. Streams of golden light shot outward, connecting all 6 forges. The energy formed a lattice of brilliance across the galaxy, pushing the darkness back. Outside, the great dimming shrieked, swirling violently, but the unified forges held. The light spread, dissolving the tendrils of shadow. For the first time in eons, the darkness had no ground to stand on. The return of light. When the battle ended, silence returned. The stars glowed brighter than they had in millennia. Systems that had been dead now twinkled with new energy. The forges hummed softly, pulsing like a living heart. The Zereth fleet and the human ships floated together, exhausted but alive. Elder Mirren approached Alara through the communicator. "You were right, Captain. Your people, humanity, they are not merely children of Sol. They are the memory of the builders. The galaxy owes its light to you." Alara smiled faintly, looking at the golden lattice of connected forges across the sky. "Not just humanity. Everyone who protects life. The light is for all of us. We just remembered how to share it." Rel, the Zerath scientist, nodded. "The shadows are gone, at least for now. But the universe will remember the builders through you." The legacy back on the bridge of the Odyssey. Alara gazed at the stars. For the first time they seemed familiar, almost like home. Aaron stood beside her. "Do you think it's really over?" Alara smiled. "For now. But the Starforgers taught us something important. Darkness will always return, but so will light as long as we remember who we are." The galaxy had changed. Humanity was no longer just a small species on a blue planet. They were the keepers of the stars, the living memory of the universe's builders. Somewhere deep in space, other forges waited. Other memories slept, and the humans would awaken them, one by one, whenever darkness threatened to return. Alara looked at the golden pulse of the forges, feeling it resonate through her very being. "We built the stars," she whispered, "and we will protect them, always."